Your Excellency, Chancellor Merz, dear Friedrich, Madam President Astrid Hemker, Mr. Secretary General Wolfgang Steiger, distinguished members of the Wirtschaftstag. It's not easy. Excellencies, dear friends, Konrad Adenauer once said, "Wir leben alle unter dem gleichen Himmel, aber wir haben nicht alle den gleichen Horizont." Portugal and Germany have always lived under the same European sky, but never, as today, have we had such potential to share the same horizon. That is precisely why I stand before you today, to invite you to look at Portugal not simply as another European player, but as a strategic partner. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't disclose what happens behind the closed doors of the European Council meetings, but I can assure you that besides sitting side by side, Chancellor Merz and I count on each other on the most important issues of the European project. Portugal and Germany share the impetus for reform and simplification, the ambition for more competitiveness and growth, and the same hunger for the results. Portugal and Germany have a solid relationship rooted on trust and past successes, and emboldened by shared strategic interests, common values, and ambition. In today's world, no European country can compete alone. Our potential lies in a partnership that benefits both our countries and our European Union. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2011, Portugal was hit hard by the sovereign debt crisis. What followed was not merely an adjustment. It was a transformation. We rebalanced our economy. We reduced excessive public expenditure from a deficit of 7.7 in 2011 to a surplus of 0.7 last year, the third in a row. We shift our growth model towards exports and value creation. In 2011, our exports accounted for a third of the GDP. Today, it's around 44%, and in the path to achieve, in the next years, 50%. We restored credibility and reinforced our institutions. But more importantly, we transformed our mindset and our economic backbone. Portugal is no longer defined by vulnerability. It is defined by strength, resilience, and growth. Ladies and gentlemen, today, Portugal combines structural reforms with unique natural and economic advantages. Portugal has a strategic location, Atlantic centrality, a pivot between Europe, the Americas, and Africa, be it internet cable connectivity or airport hub. This matters when supply chains are being rethought. We are a maritime nation. The ocean is not a barrier. It is part of our economic future, from energy and innovation to logistic and value chains. And we speak a global language. Not now, because I'm speaking in English, But Portuguese is the most spoken language in the southern hemisphere, with a strong demographic growth projected in the countries such as Brazil, Angola, or Mozambique. According to the United Nations, by 2100, 500 billion people will have Portuguese as their mother tongue. This is more than the population of the entire European Union. Our language is not just a cultural heritage. It is a business facilitator to fast-growing markets. Ladies and gentlemen, in economic terms, our competitiveness is the result of consistent, stable, and long-term policies. In energy, Portugal is leading the transition. Last year, 75% of our electricity came from renewable sources. We are reducing dependency on external suppliers, including fossil fuels from unstable regions, while ensuring competitive energy costs for our industry. This is the result of our shared environmental agenda, but it is also a clear competitive advantage for our economy. While the electricity bill for companies is increasing all over Europe, the Portuguese economy may rely on low and stable prices. Let me underline this point. Your industrial investment in Portugal can benefit not only of a highly qualified workforce and a friendly fiscal environment. Our affordable, safe, and clean energy is also a key comparative advantage without parallel in the European internal market. In technology, we are building a dynamic innovation ecosystem. Startups, scale-ups, and technological centers are choosing Portugal as a safe bet. In security, both internal and external, we are recognized as one of the safest countries in the world. Stability and safety are not abstract values. They are concrete assets for investment, notably on critical sectors. Ladies and gentlemen, over the past 2 years since my government took office, Portugal has consolidated itself as a reference of stability. Political stability marked by moderation. Financial stability anchored in responsible and credible public finances. Economic stability driven by growth and investment. And social stability ensured by inclusion and dialogue. But stability is not inertia. On the contrary, it is the foundation for a dynamic business environment supported by future-oriented public policies. My government has not increased a single tax. Another key point. On the contrary, we reduced taxes for both personal income and corporate profits, and increased wages in a sustainable way. As noted by the OECD, Portugal was among the only 4 countries that consistently reduced income taxes in the last 2 years. And we also reduced corporate taxes and plan to continue that reduction in the coming years. We have also implemented a balanced migration reform with 2 main goals: protecting our common borders, while ensuring that we also have the human resources that our economy needs. On this, we are working hand in hand with business confederations. Their needs are heard, and the government responds as migration should also be a tool for growth. Notably, when employment is at historically high levels, as in the case of Portugal. We are also reforming the state, cutting red tape, simplifying processes and accelerating administrative procedures. Our companies should focus on business, not on outdated bureaucracy. I think you feel the same in Germany. At the same time, we are investing in digitalization to free our citizens and companies from unnecessary costs. We were the first EU member state to launch the business digital wallet, simplifying interactions between companies and public administration. We are addressing structural challenges, including housing, education, and health system. And we have taken strategic decisions, such as the long-awaited development of a new international airport, and moving forward with the privatization of our national airline, TAP Air Portugal. And we are currently negotiating further labor law reforms to enhance dynamism while protecting workers. Ladies and gentlemen, these measures are delivering results. In 2025, Portugal recorded a historic level of investment while maintaining a relevant budgetary surplus. Our performance has been recognized internationally. The Economist elected Portugal as Economy of the Year in 2025. It is the consequence of strategic vision, consistent policies, and a results-oriented approach. At the European level, Portugal and Germany are very much aligned. We share a commitment to reduce excessive regulation, to advance the green transition, and to strengthen open and fair trade. We understand the importance of diversification markets and reducing strategic dependencies. For example, what happened with Mercosur? The recent visit of President Lula da Silva to Europe, both to Germany and Portugal, reminds us the importance of the reinforcing ties with South America. Portugal is a natural party. We have a centuries-old connection with Brazil. We share the language. We understand the people. We connect markets. And we can help German companies navigate and succeed in this environment. Ladies and gentlemen, Portugal and Germany also share a strategic view for the future of Europe. Prosperity built on global competitiveness and supported by instruments that promote growth and convergence within the EU and in benefit of all member states. A common vision, an autonomous and open Europe, capable of benefiting from free and fair trade, with a strong emphasis of the technology we mark tomorrow's companies and economies. We have the tools to build it: our engineers, our developers, our startups, and our scale-ups. We also have the vision to complete it. Not a protectionist Europe, but one that relies on trade partners and agreements. Not an over-regulated Europe, but one that allows our businessmen and entrepreneurs to flourish. And not a dependent Europe, but one that sources, builds, and develops what it needs to have a key global role. To make this happen, we need Europe to be more competitive. Not just some in Europe, but all of us in Europe. If we fail to deepen our internal market, we will miss a historic opportunity. The same applies if we fail. The same applies if we fail to address our internal disparities. And please take note, there is no competitiveness without convergence and cohesion. Germany's economic history is a clear example of that. This is why the next EU Competitiveness Fund should invest heavily on the growth of our companies. For Europe to lead in a global economy, we may need European champions. But we must also ensure that this new European priority benefits all. Not just a few, all regions and all member states. With excellence and merit, of course, but also by ensuring a level playing field that makes the most of each of our advantages. Germany and Portugal are the perfect example of that winning combination. German companies have built outstanding success story in Portugal. Volkswagen, Siemens, Bosch, Continental are just a few examples of the German industrial leaders that have developed their highly competitive operation in our country. These are not isolated investments. They are long-term partnership. We can jointly replicate this successful approach by going hand-to-hand into international markets and high-tech sectors. Consider aeronautics and defense. Portugal is developing a strong and dynamic cluster with companies such as Embraer or Lufthansa Technik, which are expanding their presence. These are high-value, future-oriented sectors where Portuguese and German excellence can combine to lead globally. The new European Union Competitiveness Fund should foster these success stories and create an initiative and incentive for companies of all member states to work together. Ladies and gentlemen, in this uncertain world, Germany and Portugal capabilities are even more complementary. Germany is renewed for its planning, precision, and engineering excellence. Portugal has proven its adaptability, creativity, and ability to implement and deliver under challenging conditions. Together, these qualities are a powerful combination. Allow me a sport metaphor. Imagine the defensive brilliance of Franz Beckenbauer, combined with the goal-scoring talent of Cristiano Ronaldo. And maybe with Lothar Matthaus and Luís Figo in the middle. A winning match. A strong winning match. Dear Germany and dear Chancellor, dear German business leaders, you are a driving force of the European economy. You have consistently proven your leadership and innovation in Europe and globally. At this pivotal moment in history, I'm certain that you will prove once again your capacity to lead a demanding transition in Europe's economy into a greener, more prosperous and digital future. You can count on Portugal to work hand in hand with you as we have been doing for decades. With your stability and our stability. With your and our talent, with your and our responsibility. This is the moment to upgrade our relationship and our partnership. Portugal looks forward to welcome you. And I conclude with Goethe. I try in German. Es ist nicht genug zu wissen, man muss auch anwenden. Es ist nicht genug zu wollen, man muss auch tun. With this inspiration, let's do this. Let us share not only the same sky, but the same horizon. Thank you so much. Vielen Dank.